politicians, I think, these day and age are totally bought, and our system is entirely corrupt. And so, now, I want to bring in someone who is running for president. I don't know if he wants to fix that. We'll ask him about it. It's Gary Johnson, former governor of New Mexico, former candidate on the Republican side, current candidate on the Libertarian side. Governor Johnson, great to have you on the program again.
Cenk, great to be on with you, and I hate to start off by agreeing with you, but I do think that this whole system is up for sale, and it's both parties with their hands out, and you give them the money, and they're going to grant you your special favor, your special loophole.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. By the way, Rick Santorum, since he won Iowa, has already raised over $2 million. You know why? All the people who buy these politicians think, oh my God, we forgot to buy Santorum. Hurry up and go get in on this if he, in the case that he might become president. But Governor Johnson, you are not in favor of campaign finance reform, though. So talk to me about that. Why not?
Well, I just think campaign finance reform should be all about 100% transparency. Just as in lieu of these super PACs where there's a mask over who's contributing, just make sure everybody knows who's contributing. I say this tongue-in-cheek, but I think politicians should wear jackets similar to NASCAR drivers with patches, logo patches, commensurate size-wise with the contribution.
Well, look, even if it's transparent, I remember Mitt Romney got caught doing some tricky accounting in the beginning of this race, and it turns out it was a friend of his that had given $1 million, and it got transferred from his fund to the PAC, et cetera, et cetera. And so when he got caught, he said, yeah, that's the guy I used to work with. He gave me a ton of money. What are you going to do about it? I don't think they really care. I think they get so much money from these rich guys, they don't even care if you find out. Why not just publicly finance elections so that they work for us instead of working for the lobbyists?
You know, when I ran for governor of New Mexico, I paid for my entire campaign the first time myself, and I just feel like if campaigns were publicly financed, what you would do is that would be incumbency protection. You'd never have anybody new come on the scene, that it would be publicly financed, and if you had a name in politics, that ends up giving you a big advantage, and it might necessarily not equate to ideas or the job that you would do.
It's an interesting point about the incumbent advantage, but overall, in my opinion, it's so much better than the system we have now that is so thoroughly corrupt. But let me ask you why you switched over from the Republican Party to the Libertarian Party there.
You know, it's always been about the message, and the message is liberty, freedom, balancing the federal budget, throwing out the entire federal tax system, replacing it with the fair tax. It's about gay rights. It's about gun rights. It's about reducing welfare spending, but it's about reducing warfare spending. You started off the top of the hour by talking about marijuana. You know, Rick Santorum is not going to let you decide whether or not you should smoke marijuana or not. I think that is a decision that you should be able to make as long as you're not putting someone else in harm's way. So, you know, Republicans, I have an issue with the extreme Republican Party in that they're not going to let me make decisions that I think only I should be making. And I think the majority of people in this country are fiscally conservative. I think the majority of people in this country describe themselves as socially liberal. The notion that decisions are best left to individuals, and I think the Libertarian Party probably fits that. My message running as a Republican doesn't change running as a Libertarian, but I think I was drowned out. I really think I was offering a similar message to Ron Paul, even though Ron Paul and I disagree in certain areas, but I think more people, there are more messengers than just one when it comes to this agenda.
So you're kind of Ron Paul without the newsletters. So Gary, I also want to say, I should say Governor Johnson, I also want to ask you, if Ron Paul decided to run as a Libertarian, would you do a joint ticket?
Well, no. I mean, this is about the debate and the discussion about a liberty and freedom agenda, and although we're very similar, having two candidates on stage talking about the same thing. Now, of course, I'm running on the Libertarian ticket. That's no done deal. There are 9 candidates running for the Libertarian nomination. That'll be a debate and an ongoing discussion. And if Ron Paul wants to join in that fray, why, he's welcome to that. But I don't think he will. I think he's going to see his way through the Republican primary. I don't see him emerging with the nomination.
All right. Our political correspondent, Michael Schur, also has a question for you. I wanted to have you listen to him for a second.
Hi, Governor. You know, I know that so much of being a third-party candidate is fighting uphill. I also know that the task is gargantuan. I know you've climbed Mount Everest before, and that might be actually easier than winning the presidency as a third-party candidate. Going into this campaign, though, I see New Mexico as a state in play. Do you see your role there? Let's say you were to get the Libertarian nomination and you're a popular former governor in your home state. Do you see a wedge position where you could be siphoning votes away from whoever the Republican candidate is and New Mexico making a difference? Because you look at a lot of those western and southwestern states, they are going to make a difference in this year's election.
No, I really see votes coming from both sides. I see votes coming from disenfranchised Democrats when it comes to gay rights, marriage equality, gun rights. The fact that that for the most part, there's a lot of warfare that is still going on. Frustration over marijuana. The fact that perhaps we would have a better or more rational drug policy today as a result of what Obama talked about in the election. So I think there are a lot of disenfranchised Democrats that are going to be just as disenfranchised as Republicans. So both sides, and then the big group in between, independents and declined to state that maybe wouldn't have voted otherwise that might now vote.
All right. Governor Gary Johnson, former governor of New Mexico. Michael thinks you might swing the election. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Great. Thank you for having me on, Cenk.